What I want to talk about on today's call is the state of marketing, the power of focus, Facebook advertising, the best 3 sales questions, video marketing, the importance of faces.
This call is being recorded.
All right, well, I'm excited for today's call. I'm more excited than normal because I'm proud to officially announce that Curaytor is one of the fastest growing companies in the country, according to Inc. magazine. It's a huge deal. I can't tell you guys how proud I am. And I want to talk a little bit today on our call about why I believe we made that list and how we can stay there. I'm actually a guy from a small place. So to be from Polk County and to grow up near chicken farms and orange groves and cow pastures, and to go from that to being one of the owners of one of the fastest growing companies in the world is very, very gratifying. So number one, I just want to say thank you, because this would not have been possible without you guys. But I also wanted to share my thoughts on how I think we accomplished this BHAG. BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal. And for those of you that were with us last year at our conference, Curaytor Excellence, Jimmy and I got on stage and I said, if you want to grow as fast as you can, if you want your business to thrive, you have to stop trying to make the Inman news list and you have to start trying to make the Inc. list. And we did. So props to you guys. Let me go through the 7 reasons I think we made it. Number 1, passion. I believe that passion powers profit. And our company is driven by passionate, focused founders. Jimmy, Andrew, and myself are driven by a lot more than financial gain. And when you're driven by more than financial gain, you attract like-minded people. Neil called me to work here. Holly called us. Tyler came to us. Wendy came to us. So when you're a passionate person who's driven by more than financial gain, you attract managers and employees and customers who are the same. We've had a mom and pop mindset from day one. We actually have a lot of family members that work here, which is normally a faux pas. Well, do you think Sarah and John might be a little bit more passionate than the average person about helping their brother's business? Do you think that Steve, my brother, might wake up every day and just be a little bit more passionate than if he worked for someone that he wasn't related to? We also work with a lot of people we knew before we started the company. So we get to wake up, guys, and do what we love every single day. And that's one of the reasons we made this list. Number 2 is our customer service. As you guys know, I believe that service is marketing. In fact, when we started Curaytor, that's all we sold. We sold other people's software plus service. We didn't even have our own products. We were using other people's software and providing service on top of that. And what's funny is when I explained our business model when we launched, Jimmy and I would, tell people what we were going to build. And every single person would be like, man, that sounds really smart. Too bad it doesn't scale. Sounds like you guys have some great ideas that don't scale. And I think it's so funny. People are so worried about scaling. There's a poster in the other room. Do things that don't scale. That's the key, you guys. You have to be willing to do things that don't scale and then scale them. And if you think about the people that have run our service department, Krista, Jimmy, Holly, Steve, these are people that can't go to sleep at night if people are unhappy. Now it's Holly. But the other thing I think we did a great job with service is as the product caught up to the level of service, as the product team improved, we didn't relax our service. We tripled down. Look at some of the investments we've made in service. Groove, HQ, Ruby, The Receptionist, Thinkific for our launch courses, Curaytor 101. I would even argue that what Jimmy does with Refresh every week and what we do with our conference Excellence is a service-focused initiative. Reason number 1, passion. Reason number 2, service. Reason number 3, design. I truly believe that design matters. There was a study that was done where they asked a bunch of people over 50, like, what website did you use and why? And 93% of the time, when they cited a lack of trust in a business, they cited design as the reason. Only 7% of the time was it the copy or the words. So what I did is I went to Mike and I went to Vlad very early. And I said, guys, if you can make us look like a $100 million company now, we'll become one later. And that's exactly what they've done. Design can be a differentiator, and it has been. I actually read a book right before we started Curaytor that really helped me with this mindset. It's a great book you guys can read. It's called The Method Method. And Method Soap, think about trying to take down like Johnson & Johnson. Think about trying to take down like Procter & Gamble, Unilever, these old school soap companies. But one of the 7 reasons that Method Soap was able to break through was design. And that's one of the reasons we've broken through as well. So props to Mike, props to Vlad. Design matters. Reason number 4 is content. Content is king. We have from day one thought of ourselves as a media company. We have put out content that's useful and helpful, much more so than salesy. The day we started Curaytor, it was a Facebook group search engine that people could use for free. That was a content play. A month after we started Curaytor, we launched the water cooler. That's a content play. The show went on to become a huge hit and send us tons of customers. What about the conversion code? That's content. How about my new podcast, Calls? That's content. GradeMyAds.com is a content marketing play. Our blog, Jimmy's show that's coming out, the culture video, the client profiles that we paid Paul Hagee a lot of money to write, the webinars we do, all the PR stuff Naomi's helping with, and the guest posts on Adweek and Entrepreneur.com. Content is king. And content is one of the 7 reasons we made the Inc. list. Number 5, sales that isn't sleazy. I can't tell you, like, of a lot of the other companies on the Inc. list, they probably have 20 salespeople. They probably have 200 salespeople. You know how many salespeople we had to get us on the Inc. list? 2 salespeople. Because our sales team isn't sleazy. We have great quality salespeople that we pay handsomely. And that's a big part of the reason we've grown fast. I remember when I was working at Dotloop, one of their core values that really stuck with me was stay small and scrappy. And that's exactly what our sales team has done. The fact that Neil and Darren alone got us to 15 million in annual recurring revenue is probably going to be a case study one day in Silicon Valley. And I've always just thought about sales as a sales guy. You know, one of our 3 co-founders, myself, is a sales guy. And typically sales guys don't get to the C-suite. But I'm glad that one finally made it because I feel like I bring a lot to the company. When you score a lot of points, sell a lot of stuff, your defense doesn't have to be as good. If you're a 60-point-a-game NFL team, it doesn't matter if your defense gives up 5 touchdowns. You still win by a lot. So what I found is that sales has started to infect our entire company. It's not just Sarah, who is an absolute superstar as a sales manager, Amber, who's a world-class inside sales assistant, but it's also the service department thinking about the conversion code for service. Like the pre-call stalk doesn't just help salespeople. Building trust doesn't just help salespeople. Like I remember when Jimmy and I came up with a good script where if somebody's upset in service, we basically say, hey, I'm sorry that you're upset, but I just wanted to let you know that 95 out of 100 clients give us a 10 out of 10. So we're going to get this right. That is actually a service-focused initiative that is a sales tactic being used. So reason number 5, sales that isn't sleazy. Reason 6 is what I would call blue ocean strategy. There's a great book called Blue Ocean Strategy. And the idea, and this is a quote from a guy named Peter Thiel, the idea is that competition is for losers. We spent a lot of time looking at the existing peanut butter. We saw what was out there in the industry. We saw that everybody was doing buyer leads, Google ads, Craigslist, home search, listing alerts, Forced Reg, CMAs, Zillow. Basically everything but home search was an afterthought. You also had a bunch of old school coaches and tactics being taught. And you also had a world where brokerages largely stuck to themselves. So we looked at all of that. I mean, I worked at Inman News. I worked at Top Producer. I worked at Realtor.com. I worked at Quicken Loans. Jimmy and Andrew were building a couple other businesses as well in the industry. So we didn't create competition. We created a complementary good to what was out there. So if you look at our stuff, which is focused on seller leads, has world-class design, we're the best at Facebook ads, landing pages. We've got a community of agents from all companies who, by the way, would now rather send business to each other because they're Curaytor clients than they would to their own brokerage. We've also pioneered what I call modern coaching, where you actually learn stuff without buying the coaching. So I definitely think that creating our own lane was a big reason we made the Inc. list. We didn't want to do better sameness. We didn't want to be more peanut butter. We wanted to be the freaking jelly. And that's part of the reason we made the Inc. list. Number 7, the last reason, is we have been willing to change. Change requires a blueprint. Change requires the right mindset. And what's funny is nothing that we do today is what we did when we started. The water cooler's gone. The search engine is gone. Krista doesn't do the same job. Jimmy doesn't do the same job. Steve doesn't do the same job. None of the products are the same. None of the vendors are the same. We have been willing to change and adapt. This year, our motto is go big or stay home. We're looking to change in a big way where we move beyond real estate and we work with other small businesses. Guys, Amazon didn't set out to open bookstores. Amazon set out to shut down bookstores, and now they're opening them. The quote that comes to mind about change is from Jeff Bezos. Any business plan won't survive the encounters with reality. The reality is always different. The reality will never be the plan. And part of the reason I'm quoting Jeff Bezos is because last week, he became the world's richest man for the first time. He actually overtook Bill Gates. So those are the reasons I believe we made the Inc. list. One of the other things that was interesting for me, I thought a lot about this over the weekend. It's something I've been thinking about for the last couple weeks, actually, since I found out we made the list. Before I started Curaytor, I actually thought that making the list was Mecca. I thought that if we could build a company that did a ton of sales and grew fast, we could sell it for a shitload of money. And what I've learned during the journey is that while we may have been focused on the pot of gold when we started the company, while we may have thought about, how much do you think we could sell it for? Do you think anybody will offer to buy Curaytor? Like, how much do you think we could be worth? Like, that's the pot of gold. The IPO, the acquisition, that's the pot of gold. But what we've learned, and a big reason why we made the Inc. list, is because we love the rainbow too. We love the journey that leads to the pot of gold. In fact, at this point, we don't even care if there is a pot of gold. We're enjoying the journey. We love the rainbow, not just what's at the end of it. Thanks for your time, guys. Have a great day. Hey, this is Chris. Thanks for listening to my call. If you enjoyed the call, please subscribe right now. Also, share the episode and use the hashtag #CallsWithChris. Every week, I choose a few people randomly to win a free signed copy of the conversion code, my USA Today best-selling book. You can also visit Curaytor.com, that's Curaytor.com, to learn more about my company, which is the one I'm running during these calls. We help small businesses grow faster, and we've been featured recently by Inc., Forbes, Fortune, and Entrepreneur Magazine.